there, welcome to theclearskinessentials.com. I'm Natasha St. Michael, and I am super excited to be finally putting together my 30-day Living Libations Experiment final review. Super excited. And I have to first just apologize to those of you that have been patiently waiting for me to put this review together. It's taken a little bit longer. It's taken an extra few weeks for me to actually put the review together because I got some amazing results at the end of the experiment. And I needed to do a few more experiments to see what products were actually giving me such fantastic results. So I'm going to talk more about those amazing results further into this review, but I just want to let you know that that's why it's just taken an extra few weeks for me to actually put the final review together, was that I was busy in the background trying to figure out what the magic product was. So for those of you though that are new to what this experiment is and don't know what I'm talking about, pretty much I've decided to start a new series on the Clear Skin Essentials where I choose one brand and I choose a few skincare products from that brand that I use exclusively for 30 days. And pretty much I put together a skincare routine of a cleanser, moisturizer, maybe a treatment product from that brand, use the products for 30 days and do a final review. And with sort of kicking off this experiment, I decided Living Libations would be the first brand that I would do my experiment with. And those of you who know, I love Living Libation products. I've been using them for many, many years. I would say over 7 years I've been using their products, but I've never used their products exclusively. And thinking about it now, I've never actually used any brand's products exclusively. I'm one of those people that when I put my skincare routine together, I'll use maybe a cleanser from one brand and a moisturizer from another and a treatment product from another brand. And I'm always mixing things up. But I want to see what it would be like to actually use all the products from one brand, so these products are formulated to be used together. So I was just curious to see would the experience be different? Would the results be different? And also I thought it'd be fun too to be using all new products from a brand and kind of going through the process of that and sharing it with you guys. So pretty much if this is new to you, I do recommend going to watch my first video that kicked off this experiment. And it's sort of my first impressions of the products. And I go through all the products that I'm using for the experiment. I actually use them. So I show you using them on my face. I share my first impressions, and you actually get to firsthand see how the products actually affect my skin, all of that. It's pretty cool. And you get to find out too, why I chose each product, all of that. So pretty much there's 5 products that I used from Living Libations, and 4 of the 5 I've never used before. And half of them I actually chose myself, and the other half were products that you guys actually requested that I review. So pretty much I chose a cleanser, a moisturizer, a serum, face mask, and eye cream. So let's just jump into the review. So let's start with the first product, which is my cleanser. And this is the Frankincense Best Skin Ever. And this is an oil blend, and this can be used as an oil cleanser and also as a moisturizer. For this experiment, I just use this as my cleanser. And I use this twice a day. I used it in the morning and then also in the evening. And in the evening, I would do a double cleanse with this, mainly because I use a lot of sunscreen. I'm reapplying sunscreen all day. By the end of the day, I have this thick film on my skin. So I need to remove it well. So I do a double cleanse, which means I wash my face twice with this. And I do the oil cleansing method where I apply this on dry skin and remove it with a cloth. I will say that if you've ever tried any of the other Living Libations Best Skin Evers, like the sea buckthorn or the rose or the sandalwood, I would say this is in the middle. The sandalwood is the lightest sort of oil blend, and the rose and the sea buckthorn I would say is more medium weight. And so this is more in the middle. And what that means is that the rose and the sea buckthorn, which is a medium weight oil blend, it's a little bit more nourishing. Whereas this, they say on the website that this one is good for acne prone skin, oily skin. I have to agree 100%. Is that what's good about it is that if you have really oily skin or acne prone skin, you need you don't want to use an oil, like too rich of an oil to wash your face or to apply on your skin. You really want something that's lightweight. And I find this to be sort of more on like a dry oil side, like that's what the texture is like. And so it's super lightweight, it's clarifying, but it's not drying. It's great. So for those of you that have oily skin or acne prone skin, I would definitely recommend this. But if you have dry skin, my recommendation would be you're much better off using the Sea Buckthorn Best Skin Ever or the Rose Best Skin Ever. So for myself, let me tell you about my skin type and where I'm at, because this is where I ran into some problems with the skincare routine as a whole. And my main issue is that at this point right now, my skin is like normal to dry. And I'm 42 years old. So I've got maturing skin. I gave birth to my daughter a little bit over a year ago. I'm still breastfeeding. So my skin is kind of affected by my hormones. I'm a little bit depleted. I'm dehydrated. I have things that contribute to having dry skin. And so for me, with the Frankincense Best Skin Ever, is that I needed something that was a little bit more nourishing. And so I found that like with this, plus some of the other products I was using, it just wasn't as moisturizing as I needed it to be. And so if I were to like choose which oil blend I would use regularly as an oil cleanser, I would definitely be using the Sea Buckthorn over this one, just because my skin's more dry. But, and I need to like emphasize this, is that I had crazy benefit from using this. From using this plus using the Rose Renewal Firming Fluid, okay, which is kind of like a light moisturizer. But when I use these two together, at the very end of the experiment, my melasma, my dark patches that I developed from my pregnancy, completely disappeared. I was shocked. I was not expecting any of these products to do anything for the melasma. If you've been sort of following my melasma, my hyperpigmentation journey, and some of the videos I've done recently about hyperpigmentation, is that after I gave birth to my daughter a year and a half ago, I started trying to get rid of the hyperpigmentation that I developed over the pregnancy. And I was able to get rid of a good like 85-90% of it. But the last little bit of it just would not go. It just wouldn't budge. It's kind of like some of you go through this with acne, where it's like you get rid of most of it, but there's like this little bit that just kind of sticks. That's kind of my experience with melasma, was that most of it went, but there was like this remnants of it. And some days it would be worse than other days. And so when I went into this experiment, I was nervous because I was afraid, sometimes when I use new skincare products, especially natural products, I'm afraid that sometimes the botanicals or the essential oils in it could actually aggravate the melasma and make it worse. So when I was starting this experiment, I was like, oh, I really hope it doesn't badly affect the melasma. And at the end of the experiment, the melasma was completely gone. And I was just shocked. And that's why the experiment, I took a few extra weeks after I finished 30 days to do a few more experiments so I can be certain which products out of the 5 I was using was helping the melasma. And after doing a bunch of experiments, I realized it was the Frankincense Best Skin Ever, along with using the Rose Renewal Frankincense Firming Fluid. So using these both together twice a day completely gets rid of the melasma. As soon as I would like switch out and use like the Sea Buckthorn Best Skin Ever with the Rose Renewal with this, then the melasma would start appearing and getting darker again. Or if I used another cleanser from like another brand, the melasma would come back. And as soon as I would just use this on its own without this, same thing, the melasma would start appearing. So I'm kind of stuck with both these products. I wish this one was a little bit more moisturizing, just because my skin is on the drier end. But unfortunately it's not. And at this point, I really like not having the melasma. So I'm thrilled with that. I want to continue with it. I'm almost done with this bottle. But yeah, so if you have melasma, I definitely recommend this. If you got oily skin, definitely recommend it. If you've got acne prone skin, definitely recommend it. If you're more on the drier side, I would say use the Rose Best Skin Ever. That would be much better, or the Sea Buckthorn. It's just a little bit more nourishing, but none of them are going to dry out your skin. So just to be clear about that, it's just, if you want your cleanser just to be a little bit more nourishing, you go with a heavier oil if you've got dry skin. So the next product is the Rose Renewal Frankincense Firming Fluid. This is my absolute favorite Living Libations product I've ever used. As you know from part 1 of this video series, I fell in love with it. The first moment I used it, I was just shockingly happy. The reason why I love this so much is it's a lightweight moisturizer, but it's so hydrating. So most moisturizers are oily. This is not oily, it's hydrating. So the base of this is aloe. So it's more of a water-based moisturizer. It's lightweight, it's, as you can see, it's almost kind of runny, okay? And so it's not a cream, and I would say it's a little bit lighter than a lotion, but heavier than like a toner or something like that. So it's not watery, but it's not creamy either. It's right in the middle. And for me, and I would say like 99.9% of the population has dehydrated skin. It doesn't matter if you have oily skin or dry skin, most people have dehydrated skin. And a lot of that has to do with our environment and pollution, or having like air conditioning or indoor heating or things like that. It's not only about what's going on internally, but what's around us that kind of sucks the water out of our skin. And so for a lot of people with like oily skin, a lot of times is that they have oily skin because their skin's just so dehydrated and their body just overproduces oils to kind of balance that out. And you don't need more oils, but you need hydration. And I just love this product because it does hydrate your skin. The moment you put it on, it absorbs beautifully. There's no residue, and it just plumps up the skin. It brings water into the skin, and it feels great to wear. It's super lightweight, absorbs beautifully, everything. And if you've ever had problems using like hyaluronic acid or other humectants, hoping to hydrate your skin, but in turn actually just kind of dries out your skin, I recommend trying this, because this will not. It won't pull out the moisture from your own skin, but it'll sort of draw the moisture from your environment to moisturize your skin. And it's beautiful. Plus, at the same time, it's very soothing and calming on the skin. And I think that's why this and the Frankincense Best Skin Ever works so well with getting rid of my hyperpigmentation, is that it's not that it lightened my skin. I think what happened is that the two together really calmed my skin and brought down the deep inflammation that was causing the melasma. You know, it's kind of like a lot of times we're trying to treat issues on the surface of our skin with something on the surface, but really it's an internal thing. And with hyperpigmentation, my understanding of it is that it's deep inflammation. So if you can use products that actually bring down that inflammation deep into your skin and cool it off, then you can get rid of that pigmentation. And I believe that's why these two work so great together and just got rid of the pigmentation completely. So I love this. I adore it. I would say if you have oily skin, you can use this as your moisturizer and you don't need anything else. If you though have dry skin like me, I can use this, but then I do need to use a moisturizer or facial oil on top of it for added moisturization. Okay, because pretty much this gives me the water in my skin, okay, the hydration. Whereas a moisturizer or a facial oil, that's giving me sort of fats and lipids. And those are two different elements, okay? So if you have dry skin, you need those two. But if you have oily skin, you need hydration. You don't need extra oil. So I love this. So there was one person that asked me if this is kind of oily, and no, that it's not. And there's no residue on your skin, nothing. It just absorbs in, and it'll really hydrate your skin. It'll plump up like fine lines. It'll soften your skin. Your skin feels like velvety smooth when you use this. So I just love it. The next product is the All Seasons Serum. And I wanted to love this product so badly. I had such high hopes, and out of all the products out of the routine, this is what gave me the most issues. So what happened with this? So what this is, first of all, is it's a serum, and it's supposed to balance out your skin, and sort of like it's supposed to balance out dry skin and make it and moisturize it. And for oily skin, it's supposed to help to sort of calibrate or balance out oil production. I found for me with my dry skin was that it didn't give me the moisturization that I needed. And if I had oily skin, this would be fantastic because it's a dry oil. The base of this is camellia seed oil, and it's the first time I used this, and I was super excited about it because what I read about camellia seed oil is that it's a dry oil, so it absorbs very fast into the skin, and it doesn't leave any sort of oily or greasy residue on the surface of your skin. And for me, that's always been an issue with facial oils, or especially during the day, and living in the tropics like I do, I don't want to use something that is oily and heavy during the day. And I was excited to use this because I was hoping, okay, this could be a facial oil I can wear during the day because it absorbs fast and there's no like heavy residue. And it's beautiful, but I just didn't find it moisturized my skin enough that I would say by the end of the first week to almost halfway through the experiment, my skin started getting dry. I started getting a dry patch right here. Over here became like really red and irritated and like achy. And in all, I just felt like my skin just needed like extra oil, extra like fats in it. And I wasn't getting it from this product. So if you've got dry skin, I don't really recommend this. But if you have oily skin, this would be a dream come true. So I used to have oily skin, okay? Back before I had children, I had very oily skin. And when I had acne, my skin was super oily. And this, I think, if I had this like 10 years ago, I would be super happy because I think this would actually help to decrease oil production and just to help balance out your oils. So I would definitely recommend this to anyone with oily skin, but dry skin, there's so many other oils you can use. And for me, what ended up happening during this experiment, because my skin was getting so dry and irritated, I almost gave up. I was almost like, this is really not working and my skin hurts. That what I ended up doing was halfway through the experiment, I started using Living Libations. This is their Soothsayer Serum. And as you can see, it's almost finished. I've had this for a while, and this is a lot more moisturizing. The base oil for this is jojoba oil. So I ended up just adding about 2 drops to this every time I used it. So morning and night, I continued using this for the entire experiment, but I just added 1 or 2 drops of the Soothsayer Serum just to add a little bit more moisturization to it. And that really helped to balance my skin out and get rid of that irritation that I was having. But I would say if I went back in time to the beginning of this experiment, I think that if I'd known how this affected my skin, I wouldn't have used this, I wouldn't have gotten it, and I would have got the Royal Rose CoQ10 serum, because that was actually initially the oil I wanted to get, and that's got rosehip seed oil as its base. And for me, since I've got like that dry, mature, like line skin, I think that would have done a lot better. So that's kind of like, I would say this was my little fail in the experiment, which I have to say, like, I used 5 products. 4 out of the 5 were completely new to me, and for there just being 1 product that didn't work for me and the rest were great, I have to say I was very, very impressed. And besides like it just not moisturizing my skin, none of the products congested my skin, nothing gave me breakouts, none of that. I just needed a little bit more moisturization. And then the Royal Rose Honey Mask. Now this mask completely surprised me. I wasn't expecting to like this, to be honest with you. I really was like, I don't know, because if you've been following my blog, you know that I'm not really into physical exfoliants. I'm not into any kind of like scrubs. I just, especially like with the drier skin, and it makes my skin feel more sensitive, that I don't normally tolerate anymore using scrubs. But this Royal Rose Honey Mask was beautiful. And I have to say, it's probably because first of all, the scrubby part wasn't so abrasive. If you saw the first video of me using it, you'll see that it surprised me. There is a texture to it, and I'd say if you've got super, super sensitive skin, you probably shouldn't use this, but I would say most skin types can use this. And what's so nice about this product is that it's got just so many like beautiful ingredients in it to not only like polish the skin and exfoliate it, but also there's like aloe vera in it, there's honey in it, so that definitely hydrates the skin and plumps it up. And then there's pearl powder, which brightens the skin and polishes it. Plus there's clay in this. So the clay too is great as an exfoliant, but also as well as a clarifier. So I found I use this twice a week. It hydrated my skin, but at the same time it clarified it. So I found afterwards, like my pores were clear, like my skin looked brighter. It just looked like even skin tone, like everything. It felt great. It made my skin look great. And I thoroughly enjoyed using it. I would say out of all the products I used for this experiment, definitely the Rose Renewal Frankincense Firming Fluid plus the Royal Rose Honey Mask. These two were my favorite. And I have to also say too, what I really liked about this was that a little bit goes a long way. Like I'll just show you now is that I've been using this for like 2 months, twice a week, and it's barely touched. And I love that. Like I like that like a product can actually last. You need very little, use a little bit of water to spread it along your face, and a little goes a long way. So, and this was something I can definitely use twice a week. It was not irritating. It was not dry at all. I'm normally very scared of using anything with clays because when you have dry skin, you don't want anything to dry it out, but no, not at all. And it just amazing. So strongly recommend this. This was one product that I received so many requests to review it, and now I understand why, because it really is fantastic. So if you've been contemplating this, definitely I highly strongly recommend it. And lastly, I got the All Seeing Eye Cream, and this product out of the 5 is not new to me. I've been using this for many years actually. So, and since I loved it, I want to keep it with the routine. And I want to just show you is that I started using this at the beginning of the experiment, which was about like 7 weeks ago. And look how little I've used. A product like this in this jar will last you so long. Like this jar can last you like 6 months, a year even. You use so little. It's a very, very rich cream. It absorbs beautifully. I dab it in under my eyes. I also do around my sort of my brow bone. I put eye cream there just because to help kind of like firm the skin up there, or hoping. And also I put this on my upper lip at night just because I'm starting to develop some lines there. And for the experiment, I was using it as my lip balm. And I find this even moisturizing than most lip balms I've ever used. It's so moisturizing. And the funny thing is I was reading on their website just like the other day, is that you can actually use this as a moisturizer. And for some reason, I didn't know that. But you can use this all over your face. So I did a little experiment of using this on my face, like at night. I find it's better at night because it is very rich, but you can use this kind of like a moisturizing mask. If you have dry skin, definitely try this if you have this, because it doesn't congest your skin or anything like that. It's actually very, very soothing. There's blue tansy in this. There's like aloe vera, like all these like very, very soothing ingredients. So I find if anyone is like suffering from like dry, like irritated skin, try this on your face. And I think that's why it's so nice as an eye product, because it does help to reduce like the puffiness, and it also just helps to, I find, smooth out like fine lines and wrinkles, and yeah, and just get rid of like any dryness under the eyes. So I've always loved using this, and I'll always continue using it. And yeah, so strongly recommend this product too. And that was my final review of my 30-day Living Libations experiment. And I have to say, the biggest sort of benefit, besides like my melasma completely disappearing, was that this experiment reminded me just sort of the wonders of using natural skincare products that you just never know what it can do for you. Because a lot of times, when we have skin challenges, like for me with the melasma and that hyperpigmentation, is that a lot of times we kind of follow the steps of using certain active ingredients that we know can help target things and get rid of things. And sometimes they work for you and sometimes they don't. But when it comes down to like natural skincare, there's not as much science behind it. There's obviously like no studies behind certain ingredients. And it's really up to the formulator, like what they're creating and how your skin responds to it. And it just reminded me of just the wonders of using natural skincare and trying new things and seeing what happens, because you just never know. And I was just fully impressed with how my melasma disappeared and just how the products in general performed. It's kind of rare for me to use like 5 products and 4 of the 5 actually worked out for my skin. A lot of times I will use like 20 products and maybe 1 product out of the 20 I like and would want to reuse, So I have to say I was also impressed with that everything worked so well. I didn't have any like terrible reaction to anything. It's just my main obstacle within the experiment was that I just needed something that was more moisturizing. And I think on my end, I just needed, too bad I didn't select something that was more moisturizing. And it's not necessarily the product that was bad, it's just it just didn't work with my skin. So in all, I loved it. None of the products gave me breakouts, no skin congestion, no blackheads, like nothing. Everything was good. That's one thing too I have to say and emphasize, was that I was happy to see that too, because a lot of times if you're starting so many like new skincare products all at once, you just never know, like, will your skin like totally freak out and what will happen and all of that. Like I was a little bit scared too of that, but I was happy to see that it's like I eased into the routine and no issue whatsoever. And also too, like I was a little bit nervous using so many products with so much essential oils, but based on sort of my experience of just using Living Libations products for so many years, is that I've never had a bad reaction to any of their products. I've had bad reactions to other skincare products containing essential oils. A lot of times certain essential oils are too strong or formulations are way too strong, but I've never had any issues with their products. So I was pretty confident going in, but at the same time, I've never used so many products containing essential oils all at once and for so long. And so I'm also just pleased to say that no issues on that end. In general, the only problem I really had was I just needed something that was a little bit more moisturizing. So that too was good. And yeah, and in general, I was just super happy, and I can't wait to do another one of these experiments. So for those of you that enjoyed this, please let me know if you enjoyed this kind of experiment, or if you have like a request of another brand you want me to like try products from. Please let me know, because I would love to do another one of these experiments. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, and if you tried any of these products, because I know some of you out there actually got all the products to do the experiment with me, or you got a few of them, please let me know how they worked out for you, because it'd be interesting for me to hear like what your results were. Did you enjoy them? Did you not? Like, did you get results? What happened? So please post that down below. And if you want to check out too, I have a written review of all these products that I put on today's blog post. So I'll put a link to that below, as well as links to all the products too. All right, so wishing you a fabulous day. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.